Hey, what's up, everybody? I just I've arrived here in DC about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Pardon me as I reach here. I know, be more prepared next time, right? um, I've traveled for a long time. Ever since I first moved to Ohio, I was always involved in some sort of contact type profession. From the time I was a phone man up until the time that I got my first casino job. It's a fun gig, but it's a gig that forces you to think quick on your feet. I found myself in the earlier years when I would travel lost. I didn't have a thing to do. You know, back home in Ohio, I'm a baseball coach, I'm a father, I'm a good guy. I like to think I am. In the field, people are people. Everybody's face is just blank because you don't know them from Adam. And it took me a while to accept that. You know, I tried talking to people, and I really wish this would open up. I tried talking to people, and a lot of times you just get shrugged. I mean, someone always thinks you want something, someone always thinks you're have an ulterior motive. And, uh, and then out of nowhere, my kids were born, and I found a whole new lease on life the day I met my first daughter, and my kids after her. It was a lot of fun, and it was a decent. It was a decent kickoff to my parenting life after Ashley, Michelle, and Ricky would come, and throughout the years I would see them bring home their homework, and they would always write things about me. You know, I hope to travel like my dad, or you know, it seemed like for a while they were proud that, to have a dad that traveled absolutely everywhere. I found another job traveling. Life the past few years has been really crazy. I guess in many ways I'm out there essentially trying to find myself. You know, I reached an age where it felt like, for all intents and purposes, I was a black sheep. No one wanted anything to do with me, and to be honest with you, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Um, you want your parents to accept you. You want your friends to accept. You want friends, period. You know, and you know, eventually it gets to the point where you build some sort of immunity, and you know, you just put on what I deem a blank face. I don't care if you like me or not. It doesn't matter to me. You know, but still traveling, it takes its toll on you, and if you don't have the will or the discipline to stand on your own 2 feet, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna get lost in the crowd, and you'll eventually disappear. I had a friend back home in Cleveland. He used to work for me. His name was Anthony Battle, and I recall the day I was watching TV, and the news came on. There's Anthony Battle. He disappeared. Um, he went to Toledo. He was a traveling technician, and he checked into his hotel room. Supposedly, he went to get something to eat, and he never came back since. That was Never knew if they found him or what. I just recall that summer day when I was watching it. My wife was in the kitchen, and you know, I we were both shocked. We were both shocked beyond belief. This type of job, as I said before, it takes a lot out of you. You know, I try to keep myself as busy as I can, doing everything I can to make sure I impact those around me in a positive way. You know, as a father, I want my kids to look up to me. I want my kids' face to light up every time I come into the room. They are big heroes of mine. They're huge inspirations, and I really love the feeling I get when I'm around them. They're kooky when they need to be, and they're serious and they're down at it when they have to be, and that's really cool. When I realized I was going to be gone for as long as I've been, I was thinking in the back of my mind, you know, what kind of purpose can I serve by doing this? I want to be more than just a paycheck. I want to be missed. I want to, you know, I want to be admired. Not just that, but as a God-fearing man, I want to get close to God. One thing that I've always had when I traveled, and I'd grab it, but my phone's leaning up against it, is my Bible. My dad bought me when I was younger. Um, Ever since I started traveling, I've always carried it with me. And while I'm on the plane, I've read it, and I look at the passage my dad wrote to me when he gave it to me. It still touches me, brings a tear to my eye when I really let it get the best of me, and it means a lot to me. There I'd say if my dad ever talked to me again, that he might even be proud of me, but I'm not doing this for him. So, um, what I wanted to do when I realized I was leaving is to maximize everything I've got from my schooling. I got my study materials to help me out, and my social networking with my music and my writing and everything that I do, as well as Instagram and my followers on Twitter. But what I also wanted to do is do what I can to pay back my kids for everything they've done for me. And I'm gonna tell you something, in the coming days, and I try to keep my little videos here to under 30 minutes, but eventually I'm gonna post this on my Facebook page. I'm gonna lock it. Eventually, I'm gonna release it just to my kids, because now they're at the point where they want to start traveling and seeing the world, and so a lot of it's just gonna be freestyling, going right from the top. But just thinking about how I'm gonna format it and put it together. So what I like to do is start with one kid, go from the oldest down to the youngest. Eventually, in between all of them, I'm throw my wife in and kind of talk about her quite a bit. But my first one's gonna be Ashley. Ashley. Uh, when Beth was first pregnant with Ashley, she knew immediately what she wanted to name her. Um, as she started showing more and more, I uh, I would talk to her stomach. Beth would laugh at me, and sometimes she'd get mad at me because I'd touch her stomach and feel her kick, and I would cry. Being a loser from the ghetto of Pontiac, who's both his sisters tried to kill me when I was younger. One sister stabbed me with a knife, and the next sister took a bat to my ribs. And there was actually a really, really strong belief that I was going to make it past 21. Here I am, over 40. Training to be an engineer. I have 3 kids. 2 of them have diplomas. One of them's well on his way. But I'm gonna tell you something about Ashley. Something about her that's just totally amazes me is that she's really a strong-willed person, and we'll touch on Michelle in the coming days. But she's really a strong-willed person. When she was young, she was diagnosed with cancer, and no one will ever believe it, but when I received the news, unfortunately, it was shift change. So mom was home taking a shower, and I was in the hospital with her. Back then in Cleveland, they had this thing called the SARS scare, SARS. So Ashley's brother and sister couldn't see her. It was really, really a difficult time because all we knew is that it was stage 4, and that well, she could die. And it would have been something that I wished to God that Beth would be there with me to help talk to her about it, but I know if she wanted to, if she could have, she would have been beyond a shadow of a doubt. And this is just one of them things. As a parent, you just got to stand up and you got to take the lead, and that's what I did. So she said, "Daddy, I could die," and I said, "That's right, you could die." And she said, "How could you tell me there's a God that loves everyone, and here I have cancer?" I said, "Ashley, if anything, I'm jealous." She goes, "Why?" I said, "You'll be able to meet Jesus before I will, and you'll spend the rest of our lives looking after us, and looking forward to the time that we meet again." She started crying, and I held her in that operation room before she went in for her first operation, and kissed her on her forehead and did what I was always taught to do. When you have nothing else in life, I reached out for God. The selfish part for me was throughout my lifetime, I always put God on the back burner. Yeah, okay, great. It's great that you're here, sit in the back seat, let me drive. To an extent, I was ashamed to even mention anything about him. At that very point, at that very moment, other than me reading my Bible, which I've always done, my Bible's beaten out of God knows what, but this Bible's very special to me. It's one of the only things that I have from my childhood that I'll probably carry with me, maybe even be buried with it, who knows. But I held her hand, I asked her to close her eyes, and at that point in that room, I laid hands on her and I prayed for her. And, that was the first time that she'd asked Jesus to come into her heart. And I'm really fortunate and I'm blessed that she's with us today. Really an amazing journey she's been through. And it's a privilege and an honor being her dad. It really is. The Bible speaks of children being arrows in the quiver, children being gifts from God. And let me tell you something, God knew what he was doing when he made Ashley. She keeps me in line quite a bit. And when I've watched them grow up, throughout the years, more and more, I realized how much they needed me and how I wanted to be a better person for them and do the most out of life that I can be. I was just reading in the book of James, how on my way up here, how it says that life is so short. It alludes to, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, life being like a water vapor to disappear, and how true that is. Never in a million years would I stop to think someone who would essentially be responsible for bringing my kids to my kids and I closer together, and some of the fondest memories I've ever had, would die at such a young age, and it's more of a sad thing that at one point he and I were close friends, but eventually we fell apart, and it's sad to even think about my friend TJ dying and not being with us anymore. A large part when I get ready to travel and I get upset and I cry, I think, it's for TJ, it's for George, it's for anyone and everyone who ever thought I couldn't do it. And I'm going to knock it out of the ballpark. Absolutely. And no one's going to know anything about this until the end of the tour, in which case I'm going to put everything on my Facebook page, Time to Get Fit. And there's a reason why I actually wrote the storyline, Time to Get Fit. And I'm going to tie into it here. I've smoked since I was a younger kid. And gosh, I was young. My dad used to get so mad at me. And he always knew all the telltale signs of you smoking. And the more I try to stay a few steps ahead of him, the more I realized how just damn good he was. So one day, I was sitting at the kitchen table smoking a cigarette. Ashley came up to me, gave me a hug and a kiss, getting ready to go to bed. And then she was really young. She asked me, she says, "Daddy?" I said, "Yeah, baby." She said, "Why do you smoke?" And I said, "Daddy likes smoking, and I enjoy it." And she says, "You know that causes cancer and it could kill you." I says, "Yeah, I know." And I said, "I'll quit smoking eventually." She goes, "Well, when?" I said, "Well, as soon as you guys stop being bratty." And she just laughed. But I told her, I said, if it meant that much to you, I'll stop now. And she hugged me and she says it does mean a lot to me, and she says I just wish you'd quit. And ever since that moment, which had to be the better half of 13 years ago, I haven't touched a cigarette. I went cold turkey, and I've never looked back. And now I'm coming up here for the first time in years. I realized how different the world is, how different things are around us. Michelle is set to take the ASVAB tomorrow. She has hopes and aspirations of being serving this great country. Ricky's fallen back in love with school again, and it's really awesome. Ashley is hoping to get back into college and further her education, and that makes me even more proud. I must be doing something right between Beth and I. But then as I looked around, I was thinking, what can I do to positively impact everybody? What can I do to set a precedent and to make a point that the only one that's holding yourself back is you? And I thought about it. I thought really hard and long, and yeah, I thought, this could be tough. But tough is my middle name. Well, to Alan, but I'm just blowing myself up. Ignore me. Anyway, I've gained a little weight throughout the years. I got my way of life that I enjoy. I enjoy very much. I absolutely enjoy very much. Simply put, I love food. Hey, give me food, I am a happy man. Yes, and if it's a buffet, even better. But what I want to do is I want to show myself, because in recent events I see that Ashley makes comments about her health, and I see my son, you know, his health is like a roller coaster ride as well. So, no other way but to get down to it, man. What I have here is an empty picture in my hotel here in DC, which is really, really crazy. The trip was actually about an hour long flight. And it was a decent flight. You know, for those of us who sit in second and third class, you kind of hope to sit next to someone with a skinny body. And I don't care if it's a kid or a dude, but you definitely don't want to sit next to someone that tips the scales at 300 pounds. And trust me, my few of the trips I had to Vegas, I sat in the middle of a couple 300-pound guys and I was squished. Finally, an Oriental bombshell sat next to me. Boy, was I happy. Man, I could actually move. She was a bit snooty, stuck up. It's okay. I'm not asking you to freaking go to the bathroom. Just, hey, happy someone sitting next to me who's body and weight proportionate. But, and when I got off the plane, I've been to Virginia many times, driven through D.C. A couple times. I actually did some work here years ago. But I was walking around. It was my first time in this airport. Let me tell you, this airport is enormous. I was standing there by the gate, and I was baggage claim. I was waiting for this my flight to pop up where my baggage would be. And there's this lady standing next to me looking, and she was talking to a friend of hers. And the lady, you could tell she was Middle Eastern descent. She's a very pretty lady. You could tell by her eyes and her olive skin tone. She was very, very pretty. I kind of glanced at her and think, man, she's cute. And I just kind of, looked forward for my gate and, trying not to look back at her because I know that, they're right next to me. Whether if she didn't see me, the person I perceived to be her sister or her mom would have saw me and probably, hey, what are you looking at? Thank God I didn't look back because, yeah, she was making out with her girlfriend right there at that baggage claim. And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there's a guy that came through from the terminal, and, he's kind of, and I said, what the? And I just kind of looked at my peripheral and I heard, I miss you. Just, whoa, okay. Wow, welcome to DC. But the hotel's pretty nice here. The Radisson's it's a pretty nice suite my company set me up in. and I'm excited about this week. I'm hoping it goes well. I'm hoping to knock it out of the ballpark. But the whole reason behind this is for me to convince anyone and everyone out there, mainly my kids, that the only person that's holding you back from greatness is you. Life is for a season. It's a short season. It's a very short season. And Ashley, of all people, should know that. And as we struggle through life, you come somewhere and you hope to land here, and you're accepting this. You'll take this. Initially you didn't even think you'd make that anyway. And I recall going to high school, wishing my childhood crush Michelle would look at me if just once, or maybe even go to a nightclub with me, or gosh, even sit at the same table with me at McDonald's. I didn't even have the guts to ask her out, man. I was too much of a wimp, and I just really looked at her and I thought, man, I'm totally out of my league. She was just way too good for me. I wouldn't change my situation for nothing. I'm very happy with my kids, very happy with what I've got. I don't share this to get out. Hey, Michelle, I get a crush on you. No, I share this to let you know what my mindset is and how I feel about things and life in general. If I had the tenth of the courage and the confidence some of my friends had, I'm 100% certain. If Michelle wouldn't have been flattered, she would have definitely hung out with me. You know, but I don't look back and think, hey, maybe now. I look back and I learn from it and I move forward. I have a lot of respect for everyone in my past and everyone in my present, and looking forward to my future. You know. That being said, anyone who knows me knows I will roll over and play dead for some pop. Pepsi, Mountain Dew, even this stuff that has a whole lot of sugars in it, which is about, here, let me get my glasses, I'm getting old, which is about 69 grams of sugar. 69 grams of sugar. Look at that. Can you see it? I hope you can. If not, well, pull it up. One of the main reasons why we lose our weight is because we put, we gain our weight is because we don't stop to think about what we're eating. We don't stop to think about what we're doing or what we're putting into our body. When I was younger, there was a song that came out that said the hook was put garbage in, get garbage out. 1 will turn into 2, will turn into 4, will turn into 6, will turn into 8. And then eventually you're going to start gaining more and more and more. So the best way to combat it is to actually look at it, open it up, smell it, and just put it where it belongs. I'm not pouring it in the pitcher to drink it. Watch, I'm going to leave it going here for a second. No more Pepsi. No more. Do they offer bottle deposit out here in Virginia? Oh, okay. 69 grams of sugar I was able to clear up. And I am going from 69 to 26 grams of sugar. I decided to go with Lipton. Very good. My whole recommendation when it comes to training your body to lose weight as I get ready to go downstairs and work out for a bit after I call my wife and stuff is to eat half of what you've normally take in. You could shock the body and think you're going to get Body by Jake or buns of granite or abs of steel, but the more you try to shock your body, the more torture you're going to put yourself through. So my recommendation is, when you start, take the hardest thing that you do is hold the mirror in front of you and focus on yourself first. What is it that's got me out of control? Why am I so tired? Why can't I think straight? Why can't I focus? Why can't I concentrate? Prior to me leaving, I've studied some diets and how to eat healthy. And that's my goal, is to actually cut this out and eventually focus on something a little more water based and something that's gonna give me an overall well being. This is 21 days or 17 days in DC, and we are on the cusp of day one. Tomorrow I start class. I'm very nervous. What I'm gonna do is, I got these sticky pads. I'm gonna write my motivation notes. Motivation note number one to help me get through the week was actually said to me when I came back to Michigan, when I was trying to find a bigger and better life. I spent a large part of my life trying to seek everyone else's approval and trying to make sure everyone else is proud of me. I couldn't be Jesus. Because God knows there's people out there that I really don't want to turn the other cheek, you know. But one thing I can do is try every day to make each day better than the previous. And I know I wasn't the best kid growing up, but something like this here, which says, I don't need you, grow up, be a man, is really tough to swallow, especially when your own father says it to you. I guess in his eyesight, I wasn't a man. Okay, cool. So that's something that's been so difficult trying to put the rest, and it tore me to shreds. When I left his office that day, I was really close to doing something drastic. Thank God I didn't. My second motivation prior to day one getting started. Right there. Look at that. My heroes. All three of my heroes. And be on the door every day. I always, it's kind of like my way. I've always seen them when I leave, and always knowing my place and who I am in their worlds. I may not be a man in my dad's world, but in Ashley, Michelle, Ricky, and Beth's, I've been a pretty damn good one. My third one. Believe in yourself. How could you lose weight at all if you don't believe in yourself? Honestly, how's it going to happen? It's not. It's simply not. If you know, I've ran into this situation prior to me coming up here. Yes, this job is quite a bit to learn, and to an extent, I feel like my first couple months, I got my ass beat from here to freaking Neptune. But the second I admit defeat, I might as well not even have came up here. You know, and throughout all my life, I've realized the hard way. Anything and everything that we have, that we come in contact with, it's there because God put it in our path. So why would I look and say, God, I can't do this, when He knows me better than I do? The Bible says He has the hair on our heads counted. So I'm here for a reason, and I think it's time to actually do something good and do something better, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, and prior to me ending this first half hour here, Desire, discipline, determination. You got this. I got this. I got this. The Bible says that if I put my hand on a mountain and I command that mountain to be removed, it's going to be removed and it's going to be thrown into the sea. I see this mountain. I put my hand on the mountain. I tell you what, I can feel the earth trembling underneath it. I got this. I got it. All right. And the final one is, I want to write like 1,000,010 things right here on day one, especially about the one person who is responsible for bringing me here, and it's not me. It's this guy right here, WWJD. And I know my letters look like Arabic, but with God for us, who could be against us, man? I mean, the battle's already won. There's going to be tribulation, there's going to be triumphs, and there's going to be victories, and there's going to be defeats. But the most important thing in here is that I believe I'm here for a reason. I believe this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity that was placed before me. I fully intend on going at it full throttle. So, live from Camp Rocky. I tried to keep this under 30 minutes. Unfortunately, we're 31:35. 17 days in Washington has officially begun. Day one. Almost in the books. Well, technically, flew up here and everything, but thanks for listening. Tomorrow we will begin day two.